Hello everybody. Today I'm going to take you through some of what I've learned with my new Xtools D1 laser. I've watched a ton of YouTube videos to try to figure things out and get my settings just right for, in this case, a tumbler. So I'm going to pass along what I've learned, some tips that may not have been so clear on some of the other videos, and show you the final output. So let's get started with the built-in software that comes with the D1, which is LaserBox. Very easy software, and you can do some pretty cool stuff. So let's get started. So we'll get started by importing an image. In this case, it's going to be an SVG file, which is a vector format. You can do PNG and different bitmap type non-vector formats as well, but I want a nice clean cut. So this pop-up is a hint letting you know that the image that you're importing is bigger than the canvas itself. In this case, it doesn't matter because I'm going to resize the image inside of LaserBox rather than Illustrator or another image editing program. So not a big deal here. After you click yes, the image will show up on the canvas. And I want to point out something critical here that helps. That little lock means that you can edit the size of the image and it will scale proportionately. If you don't click that lock, it'll get skinny, tall, wide, whatever. So that's a key thing. Next, we're going to rotate it 90 degrees to fit the direction that I want it to be on the tumbler. And also go ahead and check the fill because I want it to be a fill and not a cut. So this is the rotation is really critical when you're using the rotary tool, and I'll show you something a little later to help you with. Next, we'll go click the little play button in the upper right-hand corner. And this next screen is where you're going to select a couple of really important things in the process. The first thing is where you want the laser to start. In this case, I want it to be right in the middle of the image so that wherever I put my pointer, the laser alignment tool, that's the center of the image. Depending on what you're doing, sometimes you want it at the top left, lower right, etc. But in this case, I want it right in the middle. So you literally click in the middle of the image and then it's set. The next setting is the speed setting. I like to make this fairly slow because the rotary jogs pretty violently sometimes, and if it gets off just a hair, your engrave will be bad, or there might be a complete line that gets missed, and it'll be obvious that it jogged a little bit and got off alignment. So I like to slow it down. I don't mind taking a little extra time. So then the last setting on this one is checking the cylinder working slider. Obviously, you're using the rotary tool, so if you don't have that checked, it just won't work. And then the last thing you do is you frame it. This is critical. Um, the old woodworking thing, measure twice, cut once. That's what this is. You can literally watch it frame where the engraving is going to go. You want to do that to make sure it's going where you want. And you can do this as many times as you need to. And I'm going to show you how. So now we're going to transition to inside the laser. And I like to use a bag of basically flour or anything that I can fit inside of the tumbler to add a little weight to it. This will help it get grip on the rollers and not slip when it's jogging back and forth and rolling around on the rotary. So this is what it looks like after I stick it in the tumbler. So now we'll stick it on the tumbler, and you see that the mouth of the cup is towards the, let's say, front of the rotary. And the important thing here is we rotated the image 90 degrees. If you rotated it the other direction, it'd be upside down. So if you went 270 degrees, it'd be upside down. So how you lay out your rotary tool is critical when you're talking about that rotation on the image. So here I'm just getting the laser in focus using the little arm there on the right hand side. You should know how to do this by now, hopefully. And then I get the laser alignment with that blue tape. And what I do is on the other side of this, there's a logo already on there. So I get that edge on the other side, and then I put a piece of blue tape on this side so I can get hopefully on the exact opposite side from the other logo. So here I'm just trying to get an idea of where I want that image to be. So now we're going to frame it. And if you remember from the previous part of the video, and it's down the lower left now, when you click the frame button, this is what it looks like on the rotary. It's showing you exactly where the image is going to be engraved. So if you need to make adjustments, you can do that, reframe it, do it again, reframe it, etc., until you get it exactly where you would like it to be. Okay, so I made some changes to the image and the settings, and I want to do one final framing, which that's what this is, and it's the size and the location where I want the final engrave to actually happen. So after this is over, then it's one final step of the engraving process at least. So, yep, the final step, and here's the engraving, and I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch the whole thing. And the engraving is done, so the last step is to get a look at it. So I'll try to get it for the camera and see. It's got a lot of soot on it, but we'll get that cleaned up here in just 2 seconds. Okay, so now we're over at the sink for the final cleanup phase. You can see it's still covered in soot. Doesn't look very good right now, but there's a couple of tips I got from other people on YouTube, which are fantastic. Use some of this LA's Total Awesome from like the dollar store and a melamine or a magic eraser. Spray some of that LA Total Awesome, and you don't even have to scrub very hard. Just scrub, and you can see how quickly it gets rid of all that burnt soot, and you have an engraving down to the bare metal. So really works fantastic going through that powder coating. Uh, Works great through a painted cup as well, but the powder coating just seems to pop really nice. So overall, I'd say that's a success. And here's the finished result. So I'm really happy with it. It's easy to do, really, when you think about it. And Mr. Rogers is great. So, as he always says, be kind. Thank you. Oh, and don't forget, if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.